very good morning to all of you. Let me begin by first thanking Sri Sudhir Pal Singh for inviting me to this Economic Times India Net Zero Forum 2024. It is indeed a privilege to address this distinguished gathering of visionaries who are all united by a shared commitment to a sustainable and prosperous future. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that the world is experiencing a harrowing scenario of catastrophic climate conditions. Speakers before me have talked about that. We have seen that the space of and a spat of wildfire, cyclones, floods, famines, and other natural disasters on an unprecedented scales are sweeping most parts of the globe. We are experiencing an unprecedented heat wave this summer, which have broken records of the past several years. And in a way, climate change is affecting all of us in a myriad of ways. And in this background, India's ambitious target of reaching net zero by 2070 is a bold declaration of our intent to tackle climate change head on. And this target, which was announced by the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the COP26, is indeed a testament to India's commitment to sustainable development and our responsibility as a global leader. And to achieve this target, Government of India has adopted a multifaceted approach to decarbonize our economy and transition towards a cleaner, greener future. Our policy landscape sees this transition towards the net zero carbon economy as not just an environmental imperative, but also a strategic opportunity to drive technological innovation and create jobs and enhance our global competitiveness. We are already embracing technologies which can accelerate the decarbonization of our energy systems and which contribute more than two-thirds of the country's total greenhouse gas emissions. And this has triggered three major transitions in the country: energy transition, mobility transition, and the decarbonization of our energy intensive industries or hard to abate sector by using the green hydrogen or other green fuels. Friends, as I mentioned earlier, we have adopted a multifaceted net zero strategy, not only that ensures our concerns relating to greenhouse gas emissions and limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, but also caters to the concerns related to energy security, supply chains, and economic resilience. And at domestic level, as a part of our net zero strategy, Government of India has crafted several policies and schemes that provide a very healthy mix of demand and supply side incentives. And these incentives accelerate both the pace and the scale of net zero transition. For example, in order to accelerate our transition to renewable energy, we have announced to increase our non-fossil fuel capacity to 500 gigawatts by 2030. Similarly, we have other notable policies in place that accords must-earn status to renewable energy projects, and there are provisions for waiver of interstate transmission system charges for interstate scale of solar and wind power for projects, and waivers on wheeling and banking charges are being provided by many states. I'm sure all of you must be aware of that. There are schemes such as PM Kusum, which is in its second phase now and provide incentives for the purchase of rooftop solars. And in addition to all these, physical infrastructure support in the form of laying of new transmission lines and green energy corridor schemes for evacuation of renewable energy and power, setting up of ultra mega renewable energy parks to provide land and transmission to RE developers on a plug and play basis are also in place. Now coming to mobility and transport sector, I would like to mention that in order to accelerate the decarbonization of our transport system as a part of our net zero strategy, the Government of India has put a strong thrust on the adoption of sustainable transport alternatives such as electric mobilities, biofuels, and along with improvement in public transportation system. And as a part of its EV policy, government is targeting 30% of new vehicles sales to be electric by 2030, and at the same time provide policy incentives under the PLI schemes for EV sectors and for battery productions. Similarly, urban mobility solutions, expansions of metro rail networks, and the promotion of cycling and walking infrastructures are being planned. Besides, smart city initiatives are integrating sustainable transport solutions to enhance the quality of urban life and reduce environmental impact. And as far as hard to abate sectors are concerned, Neha has talked about that. The government has launched National Green Hydrogen Mission with a budgetary outlay of approximately US dollar 4.2 2.4 billions. And with this Energy Conservation Amendment Act of 2022 and the launch of our PM's vision for Mission Life, government is also committed to bring individual behavioral changes as a key aspect of the global climate action narrative. And I think we all need to be a part of that. Friends, India's clean energy value chain offers an investment opportunity of at least US dollar 500 billion by 2030. However, as per an estimate, achieving net zero by 2070 would require at least US dollar 10.1 trillion, and that's not a small sum. And therefore, in order to bridge the financing gap, Government of India is also committed to integrate ESG in influencing corporate strategies and investment decisions of companies. And in this context, SEBI has mandated the top 100 listed companies to disclose their ESG initiative, fostering transparency and accountability. And it is envisioned and envisaged that by adopting such sustainable business practices, companies can contribute to India's net zero journey while enhancing their competitiveness and resilience. And that's where I think role of all of you is very important. In addition, India's impact investment landscape is also growing, with investors increasingly prioritizing ESG criteria. Government initiatives like social stock exchange aims to facilitate investment in social enterprises, aligning financial returns and positive societal impact. And collaborations between impact investors, startups, and government agencies are fostering innovations and scaling up sustainable solutions throughout the country. And now coming to our efforts on the international and global front, since I belong to Ministry of External Affairs, I thought I would give some ideas about that. And in that context, I would like to mention that Government of India is strongly committed to pursue development models that implement sustainable, inclusive, and just transition globally while leaving no one behind. And this has strengthened our position in the global south. Our initiatives such as International Solar Alliance has exemplified our leadership in promoting solar energy globally. India's G20 presidency also gave to the world a visionary Green Development Pact for the future that provides pathways for nations in their journey towards achieving the energy, climate, environment, and disaster resilience related objectives. India's G20 presidency also saw the fructification of other collaborative initiatives such as Global Biofuel Alliance, Leadership Group for Industry Transitions, etc. And the government is also fully committed to the United Nations framework of climate change process. And at COP20, as all of you must be knowing, our Honorable Prime Minister proposed to host COP33 in 2028 in India. Here I would also like to mention that in order to achieve our net zero goal and as a part of our global efforts in this direction, we are firmly committed to enhancing international cooperation with like-minded countries and to address financing gaps, facilitate transfer of technologies on preferential and concessional terms, as well as in building supply chain resilience for the clean energy value chain. And I would like to mention that we have pioneered together with some other countries very important initiative and engagement platforms. As you must be knowing, under the India-EU Trade and Technology Council, India and EU has enhanced technological cooperation in the field of green hydrogen in multiple areas, such as waste to green hydrogen, hydrogen storage, transportation, safety standards, and regulatory frameworks. Similarly, under the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, IPEF, progress is being made on advancing cooperation in R&D, commercialization, availability, accessibility, and deployment of clean energy and climate-friendly technologies, and also facilitating investment towards climate-related projects in an Indo-Pacific region. With USA, we have set up a strategic clean energy partnership, and this partnership we have launched the US-India New and Emerging Renewable Energy Technologies Action Platform, RETAP, to accelerate development of key technologies to advance common ambitious clean energy goals. Similarly, the Quad Statement of Principles on Clean Energy Supply Chain in the Indo-Pacific, which was released last year, also lays thrust on promoting enhanced cooperation to drive environmental, social, and governance practices for clean energy supply chains for improving market transparency and promoting sustainable development. I would also like to add here that the government is committed to harnessing potential of new and emerging technologies such as AI, IoT, geospatial technologies, and so on to optimize energy system, enhance industrial and transportation efficiency, make real-time environmental monitoring and response to climate events more adept, and build resilient and sustainable communities by instituting collaborative initiatives in both multilateral and bilateral contexts. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to mention that even though our per capita emission is only one-third of the global average, our performance has been good in terms of our achievement in clean energy and emission reduction target. As you would all be knowing, India is one of the few economies in the world that is on track to meet our NDC targets. We have already achieved the target related to emission intensity 11 years ago, and we have achieved non-fossil fuel targets 9 years ahead of the schedule. The Indian energy market is one of the top 5 markets in the world and also among the fastest growing across the globe. And in 2024 calendar year alone, US $16.5 billion investment is expected in renewable energy sector. And along with that, we aim to reduce our carbon intensity by over 45% and to generate 50% of our electricity from renewable sources by 2030, and also have an ambitious target of achieving 500 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030 and net zero by 2070. And our achievement thus far clearly shows that our commitment to reach net zero is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would say that path to net zero by 2070 is indeed challenging, yet it is an achievable goal for India. It requires a concerted effort on our part from all sectors of societies, including government, industry, academia, and civil society. By embracing innovation, fostering collaboration, and prioritizing sustainability, we can create a resilient and prosperous future for our nation and the world. And as we convene here at this Economic Times Net Zero Forum, let us commit to bold actions, transformative ideas, and unwavering resolves. Together, we can turn the vision of a net zero India into a reality, ensuring a healthier planet for future generations. Thank you, and I look forward to this insightful discussion today. And let us embark on this journey with determination and optimism, knowing that future we build today will shape the destiny of tomorrow. Thank you very much once again, Sudhi, for inviting.